I went on a date.
Did you date her?
I went on a date with her one time, yeah.
Just one date?
Yeah, it was just one date. We went to Disneyland in disguise, actually, which was fun.
Drake has long stood at the epicenter of hip-hop, not just for his chart-topping hits, but for the whirlwind of drama that seems to follow in his wake. His career, marked by towering alliances and bitter rivalries, took a startling turn in December 2024. That's when fellow rapper and TV mogul 50 Cent dropped a bombshell. A leaked document allegedly listing individuals considered Drake's adversaries. Dubbed the Ops List, the document set the industry ablaze. Suddenly, social media was on fire, buzzing about the high-profile figures it named, artists, producers, and even some of Drake's former collaborators. What started as a single post grew into a cultural flashpoint, sparking debates about Drake's influence and his place in the rapidly evolving entertainment landscape. For some, the list was a calculated move by Drake to reclaim the narrative after enduring months of criticism. For others, it hinted at long-simmering tensions that had finally boiled over. Either way, it turned the spotlight on questions of loyalty, reputation, and what it really means to be an ally or an enemy in the cutthroat world of hip-hop. Each new revelation from the list added layers of intrigue to Drake's already complex web of relationships, spurring relentless speculation and drawing the attention of fans, critics, and insiders. One of the most shocking names on the list, Kendrick Lamar. Their rivalry, simmering for years, had by 2024 erupted into a full-blown feud that redefined the era. No longer just a battle for chart dominance, their conflict became something far more personal and seismic, an unforgettable chapter in hip-hop's turbulent history. The tension between Drake and Kendrick Lamar morphed into a cultural phenomenon that forever changed how lyrical beefs were viewed in mainstream music. Kendrick's ferocious diss track, already a critically acclaimed master. During the 2025 Grammy Awards, the Recording Academy boldly played the song live, amplifying its impact. But the moment that truly shook the world came a few months later. On the stage of the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show, Kendrick performed multiple versions of his diss tracks in front of over 100 million viewers. While Kendrick's feud with Drake took center stage, another name from 50 Cent's Ops List stirred up its own drama, Future. Once regarded as one of Drake's closest allies, Future shared the limelight with Drake on their 2015 mixtape What a Time to Be Alive, a project that became a cornerstone of modern hip-hop. Yet behind the scenes, cracks were forming. Whispers of tension between the two started as early as 2011, and over the years, the friendship that once seemed unbreakable began to unravel. What initially appeared as creative differences soon revealed deeper fissures. Subliminal jabs slipped into their lyrics, hinting at a widening gulf. But the rift wasn't just about music. According to insiders, a personal fallout over a romantic relationship drove the wedge even deeper, though the exact details remain cloaked in mystery. By 2024, what was once considered a hip-hop dream team had devolved into a strained relationship, marking the end of an era for fans who once believed their collaboration would stand the test of time. The schism was undeniable. Both artists had firmly taken up residence on opposing ends of the music world's power spectrum. Among the notable names on 50 Cent's list was A$AP Rocky, a once friendly figure in Drake's orbit whose relationship with the superstar underwent a drastic shift. They were initially photographed together frequently, their mutual respect evident in interviews. But as with many others on the list, the goodwill eventually gave way to conflict. This time, the source of friction was the globally celebrated icon, Rihanna. Drake's on-again, off-again relationship with her was one of the most publicized romances in modern music. When their relationship ended, A$AP Rocky stepped into the picture, marking the start of a new chapter with Rihanna. The resulting dynamic was a simmering rivalry that never quite boiled over into public confrontation, but was impossible to ignore. Their professional decisions and public appearances hinted at the growing tension, slowly dismantling the once amicable connection between Rocky and Drake. Over time, A$AP Rocky and Rihanna became an official couple and eventually started a family together, a development that added another layer of complexity to the already delicate balance of power within their shared industry circles. The ripple effects were felt far and wide, with high-profile peers and fans alike taking note. Though Drake avoided any overtly public statements about the situation, his actions and demeanor spoke volumes. Sharp-eyed observers detected subtle references in his lyrics, a frosty demeanor during shared events, and unrelenting rumors of behind-the-scenes friction. These signals, whether intentional or not, painted a picture of a once close relationship turned distant. For many, A$AP Rocky's flourishing success and his strong partnership with Rihanna seemed like a symbolic challenge to Drake's personal and professional stature, turning a once friendly connection into yet another of the era's defining rivalries. The undercurrents of tension only deepened as A$AP Rocky's profile continued to ascend, not only in music, but also as a burgeoning fashion icon. Yet Rocky's rising star was far from the only strained relationship in Drake's orbit. Among the growing list of fractured ties was none other than Dr. Dre, one of hip-hop's most revered architects. Known as a cultural bridge builder and a mentor to a new generation of artists, Dre's influence transcended music, symbolizing a pillar of unity within the industry. In earlier years, Dre and Drake enjoyed a relationship marked by mutual admiration and occasional creative synergy. Drake had even contributed writing to one of Dre's projects, hinting at the potential for deeper collaborations. But when the simmering rivalry between Kendrick Lamar and Drake exploded into public consciousness, Dre left no doubt about where his allegiance lay. As Kendrick's longtime mentor and staunch supporter, Dre's loyalty was unflinching, effectively extinguishing any prior camaraderie with Drake. Dre's support for Kendrick wasn't subtle. He became a vocal champion, using key cultural moments to signal where he stood. This wasn't just a quiet nod behind the scenes. Dre's presence at pivotal events, his public endorsement of Kendrick's artistry, and his active participation in Kendrick's most impactful performances made the divide clear. In siding so publicly with Kendrick, Dre firmly repositioned himself in the industry's ever-shifting power dynamics. He embraced Kendrick's vision, severing ties that could compromise his role as a mentor and solidifying a new alignment that resonated throughout the hip-hop hierarchy. One of the most telling moments came during a landmark performance that echoed across the cultural landscape. At a high-profile pop-out concert, Dre stood on stage with Kendrick to deliver a powerful rendition of Tupac Shakur's California Love, a tribute that honored the enduring legacy of West Coast hip-hop. The performance was more than a nostalgic nod. It signaled a generational shift in the culture, with Dre's presence symbolizing his full endorsement of Kendrick's ascendance. As if that weren't impactful enough, Dre personally introduced Kendrick's final performance of Not Like Us, the track widely recognized as the apex of Lamar's lyrical campaign against Drake. For fans, critics, and insiders, this was no ordinary concert appearance. It was a deliberate, calculated statement, a confirmation that Dre had chosen his side and that the fracture between him and Drake was irreversible. When Dr. Dre stood beside Kendrick Lamar to introduce the climactic track of their rivalry's narrative arc, it cemented his loyalty and erased any lingering ambiguity. It was a moment that starkly reminded Drake that even hip-hop's most iconic figures had picked their allegiances, and he was not on the winning side. Dre's alignment was yet another blow in a growing pattern of strained alliances, but it wasn't the only high-profile fracture. Among the other notable adversaries named in Drake's circle was Kanye West, a figure whose relationship with Drake had been a turbulent blend of inspiration, collaboration, and eventual discord. In the beginning, the two shared a bond rooted in mutual respect. Kanye, as an established innovator, served as both a mentor and a creative influence during the early phases of Drake's career. Their partnerships, along with their shared interests in both music and fashion, suggested a future filled with collaborative brilliance. But that hopeful dynamic took a devastating turn in 2018. The pivotal moment came when Drake's private life, specifically the existence of his son Adonis, was thrust into the spotlight. This personal revelation became the cornerstone of Pusha T's diss track, The Story of Adidon, a release that portrayed Drake in a vulnerable, deeply unflattering light. Although Kanye has publicly denied being the source of the leak, rumors surrounding his involvement never fully faded. Drake, reportedly unconvinced of Kanye's innocence, found his trust in the relationship irreparably damaged. In the years since, their connection has been a cycle of public disputes, tentative truces, and fresh conflicts. While there have been fleeting moments of seeming unity, occasions when the two appeared to be on better terms, the underlying tension has always simmered just beneath the surface. Kanye West, once a guiding influence and respected collaborator, has transformed into one of Drake's most prominent estranged peers. The evolving nature of their relationship, from one of mentorship and mutual admiration to one defined by mistrust and rivalry, highlights the complexities at play within hip-hop's upper echelons. It's a testament to how personal revelations, professional ambitions, and the constant shifting of industry loyalties continue to shape the narratives of its most influential figures. Among the recent names associated with mounting tension around Drake, J. Cole's inclusion is particularly striking, not because of any fiery rivalry, but because of the slow erosion of what many had considered one of hip-hop's most stable alliances. J. Cole and Drake long held a reputation for mutual respect. Rather than clashing directly, they each focused on their own distinct creative paths. Their joint efforts, such as In the Morning and the later Jodeci Freestyle, were celebrated as prime examples of harmonious collaboration and complementary artistry. That dynamic, however, shifted dramatically in 2024. During the height of Kendrick Lamar's high-profile feud with Drake, J. Cole attempted to remain neutral. His track, 7-Minute Drill, was widely seen as a tempered response, an effort to maintain diplomacy in a highly polarized moment. But the reception was anything but neutral. Critics quickly pounced, accusing Cole of downplaying the significance of Kendrick's critiques and of prioritizing his personal connections over a clear stance. The backlash was swift and fierce. In a rare public admission of regret, J. Cole addressed the controversy during a live performance, apologizing for releasing the track and admitting it hadn't felt right to him. While many commended the apology as a humble gesture, the move reportedly didn't sit well with Drake. For Drake, who was under intense scrutiny at the time, Cole's public apology felt like a betrayal. Although Cole never directly sided with Kendrick, his public mea culpa was widely interpreted as a tacit acknowledgement of the validity of Kendrick's criticisms. This moment of public discord fractured what was once a seemingly unbreakable bond. The strain became even more evident when J. Cole withdrew from a planned tour leg alongside Drake, citing a creative shift in his priorities. Behind the scenes, industry insiders noted that communication between the two artists had largely ceased, with both men focusing on their own projects and steering clear of joint appearances. This breakdown of their partnership served as a stark reminder of how even the most enduring relationships can falter under the weight of industry-wide division. As the shifting tides of hip-hop continue to reshape allegiances, J. Cole's repositioning has come to symbolize a broader trend. It's a clear demonstration of how previously solid alliances can falter when the stakes grow higher. Whether this schism proves temporary or permanent remains uncertain, but for now, it stands as another chapter in the unraveling web of connections that once surrounded Drake. In a time where so many ties have been strained or severed, even the most steadfast supporters have found themselves rethinking their loyalties. DJ Academics had long positioned himself as Drake's most loyal media ally, shaping his platform around amplifying OVO narratives and minimizing criticism. For years, he was a steadfast advocate, tirelessly defending Drake's reputation and countering detractors at every turn. Yet in 2025, the cracks in this unflinching loyalty began to show, and the shift was hard to ignore. At first, the changes were subtle. Hesitant comments during live streams, awkward pauses in interviews, and vague statements that hinted at internal conflicts. But the moment that set everything ablaze came during an interview with DJ Vlad. Academics, attempting to defend Drake's character, inadvertently dropped a bombshell. While discussing the challenges of maintaining a spotless public image, he made an offhand remark about deals behind the scenes that had kept certain allegations from becoming public. That single phrase sent shockwaves through social media, igniting a firestorm of speculation and debate. As the interview went viral, fans, commentators, and influencers dissected his words, searching for hidden meanings. Was this a slip-up that confirmed long-standing rumors? Or was Academics deliberately distancing himself from the OVO narrative he had always championed? The ambiguity left his audience divided. For a figure whose credibility was built on being a mouthpiece for Drake's camp, this sudden shift felt like a betrayal to some and a revelation to others. His comments sparked a reevaluation of his role in the OVO ecosystem, undermining the trust and confidence his platform had cultivated. The timing of this perceived wavering loyalty couldn't have been worse. Drake was already navigating turbulent waters, his artistic choices under heavy scrutiny, his public image facing mounting pressure, and legal troubles casting a shadow over his empire. At a moment when he needed his inner circle to close ranks, Academics' comments instead exposed fractures in the once united front. His hesitations and backhanded remarks symbolized a larger problem. the gradual erosion of loyalty among those who had once been Drake's staunchest defenders. More than just a personal fallout, this episode represented a broader shift in the power of media narratives. Academics, once seen as a fortress shielding Drake from criticism, had become a wild card. His words fueled speculation rather than quelling it, leaving the rapper vulnerable at a time when perception mattered most. In an industry where public opinion can make or break careers, the unraveling of one of Drake's strongest alliances served as a stark reminder of how quickly things can change when the pressure becomes too much to bear. The DJ Academics episode didn't just highlight cracks in trust, it underscored the harsh realities of relying on loyalty that can falter under pressure. When pushed to the brink, even the most devoted allies may choose self-preservation over allegiance. This lesson is woven into the fabric of 50 Cent's now infamous list, which, beyond its shock value, has come to symbolize some of the most influential rivalries and ruptures in modern music. And each name on the list, Kendrick Lamar, Future, Kanye West, A$AP Rocky, tells a story of high-profile feuds and deeply personal betrayals. These weren't fleeting disagreements. They were pivotal moments in Drake's journey, each one reshaping his relationships and defining his trajectory. Kendrick's razor-sharp lyrics, Future's unraveling friendship, Kanye's tangled history, and A$AP Rocky's quiet but undeniable rivalry all serve as milestones in the ongoing saga of an artist navigating a world where power, loyalty, and ambition constantly collide. Despite these challenges, Drake has proven remarkably resilient. His name still dominates the charts, his influence remains far-reaching, and his public presence is as commanding as ever. The question that lingers now is whether these rifts can ever be mended. Are the bridges burned beyond repair, or is there still a chance for reconciliation? Will these conflicts continue to cloud his legacy, or will they eventually become footnotes in the story of a career defined by persistence and reinvention? Only time will provide the answers, but one thing is certain: Drake's narrative is far from over. Each feud, each alliance gone awry, adds another chapter to a legacy that will be debated and dissected for years to come. As fans, critics, and insiders keep watch, the tale of Drake's career grows more intricate, more layered, and more compelling.